opinyon ng pag-uulat ng mag-uulat sa programang ito ay hindi ang pangunahing posisyon o pahayag ng pamumunuan ng organisasyong ito. The views and opinions expressed in this live report are those of the presenter and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the management of this organization. Okay, good evening ladies and gentlemen and welcome to Magpayo tayo Kainklusyon. Today is Saturday, the 5th of February 2022. I am your host, Carlos Miguel Kanahashi, and together with me is Asher Santos. Sir Mark Betita and Christian Chan will join us in just a moment. Asher, for the opening remarks, please.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Carlos, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome ulit tayo sa Magpayo tayo Inclusion ngayong February 5 po. At ilang linggo tayo hindi tayo nag-air dahil sa kaligtasan na dahil sa kalusugan, sa health problems natin dito sa ating bansa. Pero ngayon, naibalik na natin ang ating Magpayo at iba pa mga programa sa InkluRadyo. At ngayon ay mas lalakasin pa natin ang panatag sa loob sa ating InkluRadyo po. Carlos, andyan pa si Christian.
Hello, everybody.
Christian.
Hello, Christian. Good evening.
Hi, Christian. Good evening and welcome to our show. And we're nice to be back here on our show after a few weeks of absence because we're not broadcasting InkluRadyo temporarily since last January 17 until February 1st. Because, as you may know, because of the surge of the health protocols, to be na pag-iingat tayo. And we're broadcasting, and it's good to be back. And we're broadcasting simultaneously on InkluRadyo and on the HNI Inclusion Pilipinas YouTube channel.
And also we're broadcasting pala po sa YouTube channel ng HNI Inclusion Pilipinas the next day po. Okay.
Yep, Carlos just said it.
Okay,
And we shall commence our presentation in just a moment. And we will be back after our commercials. Now this. Sige.
Matapang pa rin tayo. Ang tropa, hindi nang iiwan. Ang senyas, isang instrumento. Ilang beses matumba, tayo huling babangon. Lumaan ang ating pinagaling. Tayo ay muling liliwan. Para sa pangarap, para sa pamilya, at para sa bayan. Tayo ang ilang. Tuloy ang inclusion.
How to
Okay.
how to
So, welcome back to...
sandali.
It's okay.
How
Okay.
to
Okay.
appreciate
Okay. So, we will... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our show, Magpayo Tayo Kainklusyon. So, for this day, ladies and gentlemen, we will be discussing to you about what is Autism Spectrum Disorder and how could we appreciate them. So, Sir Mark,
Hey, yes,
can you
good
open our
evening.
PowerPoint for the day, please?
Yes.
Sure, thank you. So, before we get to our topic, I have a question for you guys.
Hmm.
Yes. And si Sir Mark.
Hey,
Yes. Okay. Sir Mark is here with us.
okay.
Hello, Sir Mark.
Hello. Hi,
Good
Sir Mark.
evening.
Evening, Sir
Evening
Mark.
po.
Nice to meet you again and again for a
Pleasure.
long time for long for one.
Okay. So, now Sir Mark will show us our PowerPoint for this day on our episode of Magpayo Tayo Kainklusyon. So before we get to our presentation for this day, we'll tell you something. When we say autism spectrum disorder, what does this mean? Asher,
Okay.
question.
Yes.
What is autism
Okay.
spectrum disorder for you?
Okay. Okay. Of course, it's difficult. It's a developmental disorder that may affect communication and the behavior, and it may difficult with everything po.
Okay. When we say, Christian, ito. When we say
Hmm.
autism spectrum
Wait.
disorder, what does this mean?
I don't think you should ask me that question because I'm already living with it.
Okay.
And the question, and rather, and I don't think you should be asking what does this mean or what does this mean. The question you should be asking is how do how do people with how did autism spectrum disorder make an impact to the world?
How is autism spectrum disorder impacts in our country and throughout the world? Christian.
Okay. If you ask me about that, let me okay. Biologically, we 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 evolve. So we may acquire new traits and we might unexpectedly generate new ones. So it's a possibility that through different generations we might have reached a point where some of us uh, emerge not being normal. Maybe and then perhaps that would be called autism. People with
Okay.
autism.
Okay, guys. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, here now is our presentation for this day. Our topic for this day on Magpayo Tayo Ka-Inclusion is about autism spectrum disorder and how can we appreciate them. Sir Mark, next slide please. So let us define what autism spectrum disorder is. Next slide please. Okay. So Christian, can you read the definition please for autism
Okay.
spectrum disorder?
Okay. Autism, also called ASD, is a complicated condition that involves problems with communication and behavior. And the symptoms for this are very broad, and although minor, it needs full-time care in special facility. People with autism cannot communicate properly and can fully understand how others think or feel. That's why because of this we cannot explain ourselves properly or correctly. through gesture, facial expression, or touch.
Okay. So what does this mean, ladies and gentlemen? So when we define autism spectrum disorder, this is a complete this is a condition wherein we have problems with our language or communication and our behavior. And it can involve symptoms and skills. So ASD can be a minor problem wherein we have trouble with communication. They thought that they they have trouble understanding with what other people think and feel. And either regardless of they use gestures, facial expressions, and touch. Next slide, please.
Pa ako na yun.
Okay. Asher, ito. Can you read this, please,
Okay.
and explain?
Okay, people with autism might have problems with learning. Their skills might develop unevenly. For example, they could have become communicate but be unusual good at art, music, math, or memory. Because of this, they might do especially well on tests of analysis or problem solving. More children are diagnosed with autism now than ever before, but the least numbers could be higher because of changes in how it's diagnosed, not because more children have a disorder. Yun nga, siya sabi sa inyo na marami talaga problema sa mga kabataan na yon. Yung sa problema sa komunikasyon, hindi lang sa katalimian po. Kung ibig tatanungin po ay mas maraming magda-diagnose ng autism po na lalo po pag hindi masyado naagapan po talaga.
Okay. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay. So what are the signs of autism? The question. What are the signs of autism? First, the lack of eye contact. A narrow range of interest or intense interest in certain topics. Doing something over and over, like repeating words and phrases, rocking back and forth, or flipping a lever. High sensitivity to sounds, touches, smells, or sights that seem ordinary to other people. Not looking at or listening to these people. Next slide, please. As we continue, not looking at things when other person points at them. Not wanting to be held or cuddled. Problems understanding or using speech, gestures, facial expressions, or tone of voice. Talking in a sing-song, flat, or robotic voice, and trouble adapting to changes in routine. So in layman's term, ladies and gentlemen, these signs considered parts of the signs of autism. Next slide, please. Christian, to read this part
Pag,
based on this slide. What are
Okay.
the types of autism spectrum disorders? I will give the floor to Christian Chan for this
Types
part.
of autism spectrum disorders. What the first one is Asperger's syndrome. They don't have a problem with language, but they have a problem with language and tend to score in average above average. We have also as a trade-off, they have social problems and tend to have little interests. Childhood dyslexic disorder is a kind of a autism that shows development for the first 2 years and then deteriorates after. Now, pervasive developmental disorder is a term used whenever the doctor doesn't know what kind of autism he or she has. That's why its full name is PDD, not otherwise specified. I've I've watched a video on I watched a Twitch channel. I watched a Twitch streamer who has autism herself, and she says she's avoiding the term Asperger's syndrome because the founder of this syndrome is actually a Nazi. That's why we're that's why in a cult that's why what we've since you already know the horrors of Nazi. That's why we want to minimize or curb the use of the term Asperger syndrome
That's
because the
absolutely
doctor is a Nazi.
yes. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. Okay. To read the causes of autism, I will give the floor to Asher Santos.
I'm sorry, nakamute pala ako. Okay.
Asher, ito.
Okay na. Okay na. Why is the causes? Autism is 4 times more common in boys than in girls. It can happen in people of any race, ethnicity, or social background. Autism runs in families, so certain combination of genes may increase a child's risk. And a child with an older parent has a high risk of autism.
What does this mean?
Sorry. Mali. Mini po yung autism po is malakas siya sa most common sa mga lalaki po kasi sa babae po. I- Ito nangyayari hindi lang sa lahat po lahat-lahatan na. Then po yung sa genes po ay magiging certain combination at maikli siya sa child's risk. Tapos yung magkakaroon siya ng high risk of autism kung yung child po with an older parent po.
Okay. So that's these are the causes. So another part of our show and our topic for this day, aside from what autism spectrum disorder is that how can we appreciate persons with autism? Let's find out on the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so how can we appreciate persons with autism? First, ask if he or she needs assistance before providing it. Don't try to accommodate every last need of someone with a disability in attempts to be respectful. The better choice is to ask, is there anything I can help you with? Or do you want me to get the door? Helping before asking implies he or she is incapable and can offend the person, especially if they've worked hard to be able to care for themselves. Do not underestimate the abilities of someone with a disability. Many people with disabilities are capable of caring for themselves without any assistance. They've spent a long time adjusting to a different way of life, be it purchasing wheelchair accessible vehicles or transportation, calling ahead to make sure a restaurant is wheelchair accessible, installing tiles in their homes to avoid wheelchair friction on carpets, and the list goes on. Understanding what they're capable of and what their limitations are, so don't worry about taking care of them. So based on the two slides, ladies and gentlemen, we need, in order to appreciate persons with autism, it means that we need to show helpfulness to help each other, especially for the disability. Next slide, please. Ito. Asher, ito.
Ito. Ito pala. Sorry. Sorry. Seek to understand the person and his or her disability before expecting to be understood. There may be times when you try your best to be respectful of a person with a disability. You may perceive incorrectly or perhaps offend someone unintentionally. Speak to the person before his or her caregiver. Someone with a distorted figure or speech impediment as a result of a physical disability is often ignored because people assume he or she has a mental disability and won't understand. Always speak to the person with a disability before approaching the caregiver. It's the respectful thing to do by approaching the caregiver first. The person with disability assumes you see him or her as unequal or inapplicable. It damages the relationship immediately.
What does this mean?
Oo, yung, oh, sorry. Masakit na. Sorry, masakit na naman ako. You seek to understand po ay yung pagtulong sa magulang po para may tama na nila yung ganito sa autism. Then you just speak to the person before his or her caregiver. Pero yung kausapin mo na yung tao po bago ibigay sa caregiver po mismo mo para para maalagaan po kasi talaga.
Okay. Next slide, please. To read this slide, I give the floor to Christian Gerald Chan.
Okay. Communicate from the top that all people, including people with disabilities, have value and are respected and openly welcome. It means if you're part of a business or organization, you should tell everyone, make it clear that there are people with disabilities among you and that they are welcome. In fact, we do have a law which states that 1% of all the workforce in a community in a Filipino business should have disabilities.
Okay,
Should be people with disabilities pala. Sorry for my language.
that's absolutely right. That's why we need to have the right to communicate as well. Next slide, please. Okay. In order for us to show the talents of persons with disabilities, we need to recognize the talents of persons with disabilities. The public largely views people with disabilities as warm and kind, but not necessarily competent. However, people with disabilities can be exceptionally talented. My question, guys, Christian, Asher, and Mark, and Sir Mark, bakit mahalaga ang talento sa mga taong may kapansanan?
Ako,
Because they are like people. They're people like us.
That's
um,
why it's by here enhancing inclusion, right? First, we have two online concerts regard on showing our talents of persons with disabilities. If you remember the two online concerts, guys, from last
Mhm.
year and noong 2020, right? The HIMI
Yes.
Inclusion 2020 and and the Include Pilipinas, HIMI Inclusion 2021. Why do we need these online concerts? In order for us to show talents of persons with disabilities in our country. Also, example of this is Vel, right? Vel Baria.
Yes.
She's a singer with autism, and she is the former vice president of HNI Inclusion Philippines. And later, she was married to David Mitchell in the U.S. last November 2020. Is that correct?
yes, I don't know kung sino na yung current Vice President of HNI Pilipinas po. I don't know kung sino yung current na yon after Bell's marriage po.
Sino pa? How about si Vico Cham? Do you guys know him?
Yes po. Yes,
Who is he?
ang dami kasi arts po.
Siya yung may-ari ng Vico's Autism Gallery. Is that correct?
Yes po.
Who who else? Who are those people involved in the talents of persons with disabilities? Who else? Si Ernie
The,
Gawilan, a swimmer from Davao City. The one we interviewed him on the Inclusive Report last July 17, 2020. Who else?
uh,
Si Sino pa?
ang dami kasi mga performance sa Angels Walk in the past recent years po.
Si Tara Marie Santiago. She's also a singer din with autism. Is that correct, Asher?
Yes, yes po.
Sino? Sino pa? We need to recognize these because these are talents, people involving talents of persons with disabilities. How about this? Why should we need training in order to make inclusion successful? Every organization should provide staff training to achieve success. Sessions on disability etiquette and recruitment can make everyone more comfortable with an inclusive workplace. So, guys, bakit mahalaga to? Bakit mahalaga ang organisasyon, yung trainings, like recruitment and disability etiquette? Lalo na dito sa Hands in Inclusion. Anyone?
Because
Asher, ikaw, Christian, ikaw muna, then si Asher, and then si Sir Mark.
okay, because we are people with disabilities and we want to make sure we feel safe.
How about you, Asher? Bakit mahalaga ang
ang
recruitment and
training.
disability etiquette and trainings? Lalo na
Okay.
dito sa organisasyon, Hands in
Um,
Inclusion.
of course, para matutunan po yung mga guidelines po yung kung paano po sila maituro po yung maayos po, tsaka kung ano yung sasabihin po nila po kaya in the future po para maging maayos na, maging improvement po at walang kapalpakan po.
And so that's why, in order for us to show that we need to make inclusion successful, lalo na dito sa Hands in Inclusion, we need to show that we need to provide trainings, disability etiquette sessions, and recruitment. The reason why we need to do this is for us doing its best for making it peaceful and be organized and systematic in our organization. And also, the reason we have to do this is para we have the right to be decent, to be organized, to show that we are competitive, and also to be systematic and organized and decent group in a long-term situation. Ito ay ginagawa para magiging mapayapa at maayos tayo ng matagal, so that we can be at par with other PWD organizations in our country that that are organized and systematic. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir Mark, tanong, question. Why? Bakit? Hey, Sir Mark, unmute, please unmute your mic, please.
Yung mic po.
Your mic, please. Okay. Okay, guys.
So,
Ito. Bakit mahalaga ang disability etiquette, recruitment, and training in order to make inclusion successful? Sir Mark.
Ah, para po magkaroon po ng skill set po ang mga kagaya po natin na PWD. At the same time po, makahanap din po sila ng decent job for themselves po.
That's absolutely right. Okay, thank you. So, use appropriate language and etiquette. Use the word disability. Refer to people respectfully and how they want. Notwithstanding any style guide, the most important indicator of respectful language is that you honor the preference of the individual with whom you are speaking. That's why we need to show that we need to respect persons with disabilities, including us, persons with autism. That's why we need to use the word disability. Use appropriate language and etiquette. Yung R words, ladies and gentlemen, bawal yan. Kasi nakakasakit ito at nakakasama yan sa ibang tao. The use of the R words is considered disrespectful to persons with disabilities as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
yes
That's why
po.
we need to show that we need to show respect, understanding, and love.
Yes.
Okay. Next slide, please. Asher, eto. Can you read this, please?
Okay. Ensure your communications are accessible using caption on all audio and video files and making websites that work with screen readers allows the millions of people with hearing difficulties and low vision to have access to your materials, adding text descriptions, often called alt text or alternative text, to graphs, charts, images, and maps so they are describable by assistive technology is important as well. Other ways to make online content more accessible include using site index by adding description for materials presented visually. Of course, yung naka-accessible siya sa ano, yung mga captions po katulad yung sa mga GMA po may mga tapos may sign language pa po sa mga newscast po para sa mga hindi masyadong maintindihan po yung salita po nila po.
That's
Welcome
why
po.
we have hindi lamang yung Asher and Christian and Sir Mark. Hindi lamang ang GMA meron. Not only GMA does have meron ABS-CBN, TV5, and TV Maria. Bakit kailangan may mga sign language interpreters nito sa mga apat na TV channel, yung ABS, GMA, TV5, at TV Maria? Why do these networks do have sign language interpreters during newscasts and Sunday morning masses? Why?
Accessibility.
It's what we call accessibility. How about you, Asher? Bakit?
Pati para sa mga hindi masyado maiintindihan po yung sa audio po at yung sa pag yung may text po doon sa habang nanonood po sa TV po at para maintindihan po mabasa nila po.
Sir Mark, tanong. Bakit yung ABS-CBN, GMA, TV5 at TV Maria may sign language interpreters sa mga balita at mga misa na tuwing linggo, sa araw ng linggo?
Hmm, para po marami pong mas makaintindi, makaunawa po sa mga nangyayari sa paligid-ligid po nila. Kagaya po ng
Kasi
mga deaf, mute, at ng mga iba pa po.
how about also sa TV Maria, may sign language interpreters, di ba?
Opo,
Sa mga misa nila tuwing alas 10 ng umaga,
opo. Para po mas maintindihan po ng
yung
nakararami.
mga churchgoers na the deaf community, nasa deaf
Opo,
community.
tama po yun.
Okay, that's correct. That's why it's what we call accessibility. Also, aside from this, also, in relation to appreciating persons with autism, bakit mahalaga yung mga wheelchair ramps? Lalo na sa mga malls at iba pang opisina. It's
Because,
also because of accessibility.
yes. And
That's
because
why we have
not all people with autism can walk on two fully functioning legs.
also, that's why we have this PWD IDs. These are very important documents issued by the LGUs. Is that we need those in order to avail discounts when we eat, when we buy medicines. It's also part of accessibility as well, right, guys?
Yes.
Tama po, tama.
What else? Yung ano pa, yung that's why we have also have laws in order to protect in appreciating PWDs, including PWAs. We have the accessibility law, the Magna Carta for persons with disabilities. Why do we need these laws? In order for us to protect and to show appreciation of persons with disabilities, including persons with autism in the PWD sectors in our country. Is that correct?
Yes,
Tama po,
Carlos.
tama.
Okay, next slide please. In layman's term, ito, number 1, focus on the person's capabilities. Don't be so focused on a person's disability that you don't see the person. Be respectful. Appreciate and show support for their talents. Next slide, please. Being amazed of who they are instead of what we see. Putting yourself on their shoes and to provide fair equality of opportunity. And also, as a way of appreciating persons with autism and PWDs, we need to join organizations that promote inclusion. Asher,
Oh,
ang mga organizations nito ay Hands in Inclusion, Best Buddies Philippines, Autism Society Philippines, Autism Strong, Project Inclusion, Association for Adults with Autism Philippines, Special Olympics Philippines, Angat Persons with Disabilities United. What else? I volunteer. What else? We have how about schools? They also have organizations that promote inclusion, right? Example
Yes.
of this is
yes.
Ateneo Special Education Society, Tugon Ateneo. What else? The Society of Occupational Therapy Majors, Guild of Thomasians Educators. What else? Yung Archers for UNICEF. Yes, we need these orgs in order to promote inclusion. So, Asher, question. Yung Hands in Inclusion, ano yon? At sino ang may-ari na yon?
Like,
At kailan?
si Roylan Marlan Paul na found their na founded last they founded last March 2017. Of course, magpa 5 years na ang HNI Philippines po.
And sana hope for the best as well for its formality as well in the future. Also, yung Best Buddies Philippines, kailan nagsimula? 2014. Di ba? At yung current executive director nito ay ano pangalan niya? Si Michelle Aventahado, executive director ng Best Buddies Philippines. And also, we need to join these orgs in order for us to promote further inclusion regardless of who we are and the way we were. Christian,
Yes.
since you studied in Ateneo, they also have did you also join Ateneo Speed and the
Yes.
organizations? What's and also what's your message to them?
Hello guys. It's been a while since I saw you. So I hope you're doing well.
And then also, okay, next slide please. Okay. To summarize our topic, next slide, this one. Positive and receptive attitude is very important when learning to communicate with a person who has disability, including PWAs. The most important thing that you can do is to help persons with disabilities. And also, individuals with disabilities, especially mental conditions that become disabling, are treated like children, and this only serves to exacerbate exacerbate their problems. And that's why we need to show that we appreciate persons with autism. Okay, we'll be back after a short commercial. Now this.
Para sa akin, meron akong pangarap
Okay.
para sa aking pamilya, para sa aking kapwa, at para sa bayan.
I'll reload.
Kahit mahirap, kahit masakit, mahal ko kayong lahat.
Okay. So,
Carlos?
hello.
Hello.
Sorry, we're back. Here, let's play this before we continue the show.
Para sa aking pamilya, para sa aking kapwa, at para sa bayan. Kahit mahirap, kahit masakit, mahal ko kayong lahat. Kahit anong mangyari, ikaw, ako, tayo. Ating isisigaw sa mundo. Inklusibong may tatak, angat buhay, itatahak.
Okay. So welcome back to Magpayo Tayo Kainklusyon. Next slide, please. Our next part of our show, let's have our Sino Ka? Know your candidates in the 2022 national elections. So we will have two for this time. Next slide, please. To read this, Christian, can you read this, please? Our first presidential
Thank you.
candidate.
Thank you. Ernest Tabella, sino ka? Ernest Tabella is a 1964 graduate of Ateneo de Davao High School and College with the course of BS in 1968 to the course of BA Medicine. In 1980, he pursued his postgraduate studies at Silliman University, where he graduated with a master's degree in divinity in 1984. He also earned a master's degree in social development from the Asian Institute of Management in 2005. He was the former presidential spokesperson from 2016 to 2017 and the former undersecretary for strategic communications and research of DFA from 2017 to 2021 last year.
Next slide, please. Asher ito.
Ito,
Si Lodi de Guzman. Lodi.
si Lodi de Guzman, Filipino Unities and Labor Rights Activities. He's the chairperson of the Bulkiran na may Gagawa Filipinos, finished his Bachelor of Science in Coastal Administration degree at the Philippine Maritime Institute and pattern work at the leather gloves factory of Ars Philippines Incorporated to support his family.
So that's why we urge everyone to vote for these two for president. These are included in your ballots. So this May 9, 2022, let's continue to vote wisely. Next slide, please. And it's now the time for our announcements. Here. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen, next slide, please. So here are the products that you can sell from that you can buy from our HNI Inclusion Philippines online shop. First, we have our t-shirts and also this one. As you can see, this is the Talano Gold.
Ito na yung bago
Which is
bago products
available.
ng sa tindahan.
This is for a limited time only. For the Talano Gold, it's small to large and XL, 325 to 350 pesos. For our regular One Inclusion Nation t-shirts, red, black, blue, white, and yellow, all sizes for 275 pesos. For the One Inclusion Nation tote bags is available in white and black. Sizes are ranged from medium to large, and prices are ranged between 150 to 200 pesos. So how can you order? Well, first of all, we'll be very strict on payments. Payment first before purchase. We're accepting payments from GCash and we will deliver your ordered products via GoGo Express and LBC. Next slide, please. So the Hansi Inclusion Philippines online shop is temporarily closed for areas under Alert Level 5, but it will continue to serve in areas under Alert Level 1, 2, 3, and 4 only. If you want to order there, the operating hours are from 12 midnight to 11:59 in the evening. For a full list of orders, please visit the Hans Inclusion Philippines Facebook page or email us at hansi.inclusion@gmail.com. Next slide, please. Asher ito.
eto mag-scan na kayo sa GCash po para matulungan po kami po sa inyong organization. Yan po. Sige, tulog na kayo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we at this organization, Hands in
Sige, tulog na
Inclusion
kayo.
Philippines, needs your help. We have already been struggling with our financial problems in our organization. So, regardless, no matter what, it doesn't really matter if the amount is smaller or larger. This will be a big help to us. Purchase our products in the online shop and donate to Hands in Inclusion Philippines. So, ladies and gentlemen, what are you waiting for? Please, please, please lang. Please continue to help Hands in Inclusion Philippines. Purchase our products in the online shop and also to donate to our organization. Please help Hands in Inclusion Philippines for its fundraising project. We're aiming to raise funds in our organization and let us have the time to rebuild in order for us to have a bigger, better, and a bolder Hands in Inclusion Philippines. Proceeds from the sales and your donations from the online shop and our purchases will go to us in this organization for its formality and its expenses as well. So guys, for those who did this, you'll be glad you did. And for those who did this, thank you for your continued generosity and for your support to our organization. Before we move on, we have an announcement from Sir Mark. If you have any problems or concerns with your computer or your desktop, laptop computer, please message Sir Mark Betita on Computer Repair Facebook page, and he'll be happy to assist you of your problems with your computer as well. Especially those who are near Angeles City, Pampanga, or if you're farther from Angeles City, Pampanga as well. Thank you. Next slide, please, Sir Mark. Asher, ito,
Ito
yung
na.
mga remaining events.
Ito po. Ito po yung mga upcoming Best Buy Philippines for February. Before that, I would like to say thank you again to BSM po for having a Chinese New Year celebration po earlier po. So
And
I
also we it's the last day of Marga, Bea, Chuchi, Athena, and Willard as interns. And on behalf of Hands in Inclusion, we'd like to thank the five of them for being interns in Best Buddies Philippines. To Athena, Marcigan, Bernice, Chuchi, Paraiso, Bea Francisco, um, it's Athena, and also Marga Jimenez and Willard Bile. May we wish you the best of luck in your studies in college as well.
of, of course ito na po yung maging schedule po for BBP Saturday Series of Learning. Of course, next Saturday po, February 12, of course, Valentine's Day na. Valentine's Day with the BBP Carota something. BBP Carota. Hindi maano kasi.
Valentine's Day with the Best Buddies Philippines Citizens chapter. And then we'll have
Ah,
Wellness Wednesday with Coach Pepper on February 16 at 3 p.m. We'll be having rock painting at 4 p.m. on February 19 and ice cream social on February 26. So what should you do, Asher? Follow
of
Best
course,
Buddies Philippines on Facebook and Instagram. Send them a message and the registration form will be sent to you as well.
of course. The Saturday Series Learning and the Wednesday this February 16 po is can be viewed on Facebook Live of the Facebook page of Best Buys Philippines, or you can join us on Zoom po kung magpa-register na kayo
Okay,
in
and
time.
also for those who registered, you have to share the Best Buddies Philippines ID series and share it on Facebook as part of the requirements as well. In Best Buddies Philippines, make a friend, be a friend. Christian, your turn for this announcement. Next slide, please.
Okay. Hashtag project sold out. We continue to buy. This is a project where we want you to buy works from from made by PWD people. Please continue to buy Please continue to support our artists in our PWD artists. Special thanks to Raya Gallery in partnership with Atneo Speed, Autism Strong, Best Bodies Philippines, Country of Scientists Council, has Inclusion Pilipinas, Telhadzi is with UNICEF, Philippine Academy of Occupational Therapists Inc., Society of Occupational Therapy Majors, Naval Center, Tuan Ateneo, and UP College Association of Speech Pathologists. Thank you and support our PWD artists.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so guys, if you're feeling hungry, then you may want to order some of the foods from the Sobra Comfort Food and the Kuya Korea restaurant. For the Sobra Comfort Food, for the menu, all-day breakfast, tapa sobra, chicken tocino, corned beef brisket, homemade spam, and beef salpicao. Side prices are range between solo to large, and uh, for the sizes and prices is 265 to 1,450 pesos. Next slide, please. For the rice trays, this is also good for any occasion, whether it be a birthday party, a Christmas party, or for your let's say for your weddings as well. These and also if you have anniversaries in the office or any workplace, then you may order there as well. For the rice trays, beef bulgogi, beef shawarma, beef udon, pork crackling with pork belly burnt and starch chicken, and boneless fried chicken. Prices are ranged between 265 pesos to 1,700 pesos with the sizes of solo to large. Next slide, please. Okay. For the sandwiches, for the pulled roll sandwich, corned beef sandwich, and chicken tocino sandwich, and the fried chicken sandwiches, prices are ranged between 320 pesos to 1,540 pesos. Sizes are ranged between solo, regular, large, and box of fours. Next slide, please. For the pasta, we have mac and cheese and penne and gorgonzola. Prices are ranged between 290 pesos to 1,350 pesos, and sizes are ranged between solo to large. Next slide, please. How can you order them? Head over to the Cover Comfort Food website, select the dishes you want to order, choose between pick up or delivery, pay conveniently through any of the safe integrated payment methods, and your order is confirmed. Expect updates via text or email. Next slide, please. If you want to pay for Kuya Korea restaurant, here is the menu. For the rice bowls, beef bimbap, beef bulgogi, pork samgyup, and K-pop chicken, 195 to 220 pesos only. For the boneless popcorn chicken, half to whole are the sizes, 235 to 435 pesos are the prices. For the flavors of gochu, ganjang, chicken, and K-pop, if you want to order there, please check the Kuya Korea website for your orders as well. Next slide, please. Lastly, follow Hansen Inclusion Philippines on our social media pages and its digital platforms as well. It would be appreciated for you guys to do this as early as now. Follow us on Facebook, Hansen Inclusion PH, InkluRadyo, InkluSports, InkluNihan, and the online shop. Instagram, Hansen Inclusion PH, Kumu, HNI Philippines, and subscribe to our Hansen Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel. And also, guys, look at this, guys. Our Hands in Inclusion Philippines Twitter is back. Follow us again on Twitter.
O
Yeah.
mag-follow na kayo sa Twitter po at HNI Pilipinas po para ma-updated kayo yung
Of
sa
all the
happening.
organization. And also, guys, for those who did this, thank you very much as well. Next slide, please. Okay. Sino mauna mag-shoutouts and greetings? Christian, ikaw
Ako
muna.
muna. Shoutouts and greetings to my family and friends. Eh, whether here in the house or at work. So I hope you're safe there and I hope you're doing fine. This is from me. Thank
How,
you.
how about you, Asher?
Okay. Okay, happy birthday po sa kay Sir Bodo Gaban po and yun lang po. Yun lang muna.
How about for me, Sir Mark, ano po ang greetings niyo and shoutouts?
Shout out po sa family ko. Shout out to Miss LJ Flores and shout out sa tropang PWD. Yun lang po. Maraming po salamat.
Okay, and also for me, To my family, good evening. To Hans Inclusion Philippines, Best Buddies Philippines, and to other PWD organizations, thank you very much as well. To my high school and college friends, good evening as well. To Lady Jane Florese, Bilisek Macuse, Benjamin Molina, Reggie Bulkerin, and Lapango na mga Pasayenyo and Ulita Wikar, good evening to you and thank you for watching this episode. And also, to those who are celebrating their birthdays today, happy birthday and expect the more birthdays to come. To those, especially to my grandmother, Carmelita Kanahashi, and also to those who are celebrating their anniversaries today, happy anniversary as well. And also to those who are watching, it may be a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you guys are in a good mood, but if not, you may use this time to improve on your mental health and your well-being as well. To those who are watching us on InkluRadyo, thank you very much as well. If you missed this episode, it will be premiered on the next day on the Hans and Inclusion Philippines YouTube channel for your viewing pleasure. Okay, next slide, please. Before we wrap up our show for this day, in relation to our topic for this night, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves, okay? So, everyone, to all of you guys watching, let us now raise our right hand and please repeat after me for the recitation of the isang pangako pledge. Please mute yourself. Unmute yourselves. Please, your mics, please. Okay? So, your mic, Usher, your mic, please. Okay. Okay. Isang pangako pledge. Ako ay nangangakong kikilos
Kilos.
Ako
Ako
ay
ay
Ako ay
nanakong
nangakong
kikilos
kilos
para mahinto ang maling paggamit ng autismo
para
para
mahinto
mahinto ang
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 maling
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 paggamit ng
paggamit
autism
ng autismo
bilang kutya o katatawanan
bilang
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 kutya
kutya
o
o
katatawanan
katatawanan
sa salita at sa gawa.
salita
sa
at
salita
gawa.
salita at sa gawa.
Isusulong ko ang tunay na pagtanggap,
Isusulong ko
Sulong ko
ang
ang
tunay
tunay
na
na
pagtatanggap,
pagtanggap,
pagkalinga at pagbibigay halaga sa mga taong may kapansanan
pagkalinga at
kalinga
pagbibigay
at pagbibigay halaga
sa
sa
mga
mga
taong
taong may kapasanan,
sa tulong ng may kapal.
sa
sa
tulong ng may
tulong
kapal.
na may kapal.
Next slide, please. This one, the English version. I will read it. Wala. Okay. I will read it. English version. Okay. Let's still raise our hand. I made a promise
I
I
made a
made a
promise
made a promise
to act to stop the use of autism
to
to
stop the use
stop
of autism
using of autism
as a joke or insult in
as a
word
joke
and in deed.
as a joke and
or
an
insult in words
insult
and deed.
in deed.
I will work to advance the genuine acceptance
I
will
will
to
work
advance the genuine acceptance,
the work and acceptance,
accommodation and appreciation of Filipinos with disabilities.
accommodation and
appreciations of the Filipinos
of Filipinos with
with
disabilities.
disabilities.
Kasihanawa ako ng Diyos. So help
Kasi
me God.
as a Diyos.
O ng
So
Diyos.
help me God.
Help me God.
Thank you very
Oh,
much. Okay
thank you.
guys, we're all
Parang
running out of time. We'd like to thank everyone for watching. Magpayo tayo kay Inclusion for Saturday, February 5, 2022. Next slide, please. So I will be back again tomorrow in StreamYard at 5:30 in the evening, in the afternoon for our special report. So don't forget that tomorrow is Sunday, as Hands in Inclusion Philippines continues to put God first regardless of our faith. Be reminded that this day, Sunday, is a day of rest and faith. So you have the right to be courteous, to be considerate, and also to cooperate, and also to show respect as well, especially to those who are attending religious services, online man or face to face. So that's why we need to use this day for a rest and faith, and also as well for your silence, silence, silence. All right. On behalf of InkluRadyo, Hansen Inclusion Pilipinas, I am your host, Carlos Miguel Kanahashi, and together with me is Christian Chan, Asher Santos, and Sir Mark Betita, and here, may awa ang Diyos.
Ang Diyos.
Makakaraos mo tayo.
May awa ng
Sama
Diyos,
tayong lalaban.
magkaraos po tayo.
Sama-sama
Sama-sama tayo
tayo lalaban.
lalaban para sa
Sa
pangarap,
pangarap,
pamilya,
pamilya,
at bayan
bayan,
hanggang
hanggang
sa
sa
ating
ating
tatag
tatag
para sa
One
One
Inclusion
Inclusion Nation.
Mission.
Magandang gabi,
Ang gabi.
evening,
Magandang gabi.
pagpalain
Pagpalain
mo
na
tayo
tayo ng
ng
buong
buong
may
kapal.
God's first.
Pilipinas. Pilipinas.
God,
God first.
the Almighty God, that bless us all. Pilipinas, God first.
God first.
HNI, God first.
God's first.
Thank you very much for watching. Have a blessed evening to all. Good night and bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Tapos na tayo. Tapos na tayo.